3rd and 5. Hanging in the pocket. Throws, caught up at the 19-yard line, and reaching is McCaffrey, but they're going to spot it a little bit shy. 3rd down and 12 from the 33-yard line. Smith looks downfield, then throws to the outside, and getting to the 38-yard line. And he's shown a ton of composure.
Really did.
In the 2 games in which he's played. In relief of Garoppolo, and then last week as a starter, and he shoots that out to Christian McCaffrey. That's Ayuk setting up on the outside and on the wing. Give it to McCaffrey again with a huge hole. Christian McCaffrey out to the 45-yard line. That's caught. Purdy 4 for 4, all short passes for 21 yards. Shoots one to McCaffrey. Fake toss. 2 fake tosses, and then to Kittle over the middle. Touchdown San Francisco. He faked it to McLeod, he faked it to McCaffrey, and then hits Kittle over the middle. Tell me this guy doesn't look like he's in his 7th year in the league. Lockett in motion. Look out. Smith loses it. And it's Lucas trying to recover it, and does. Hufanga came in. He was the guy. Smith never saw him. A little over a half minute to play in the quarter. 3rd down and 16. Purdy hits McCaffrey, and he takes it to the 47. 3rd down and 5 here now from the 30-yard line. Smith swings it to the outside. Homer, and he'll get stopped before he can reach the line to gain. 6 games in a row, giving up no more than 17 points in any one game. McCaffrey. Play action and rolling and throwing and caught. Ayuk. 3rd down and 9. To the outside and incomplete, a little low and away. Clearly he was going to be the man right from the get-go. 2nd down and 8, and he fires that one, and that's caught up at the 33-yard line.
Good tight coverage, but nice job by Geno Smith to get that ball in there.
Yeah, they go without a huddle. Go 5 wide here, and that's caught by Metcalf. Back to back. Smith stepping up. Going to keep it into 49er territory, and Geno runs for a 1st down, and they want a flag at the end of the play. Swings it to the outside, and that's caught by Noah Fant. Final 5 minutes of the half. Look out. Smith incomplete. Dixon puts it down, and the kick is good. As fast as they come. Part of the Legion of Boom. Meanwhile, that's almost intercepted right into the hands of Quandre Diggs. Could not hold on. And it's 4th and 11.
Came into this game and said, listen, Traveris Ward, you're taking 14 out of this game.
Again to the outside, and that 2nd and 6. Homer loses it. Picked up on a hop. And on his way, Travarius Ward out of bounds at the 5-yard line. And run with it. That was the case there. McCaffrey into the end zone. He goes for the touchdown. So the killer fumble leads to a touchdown, and as we say, they're going to get the ball to start the 2nd half. That's Metcalf's 3rd offensive pass interference penalty of the season. Lockett. He gets reset the clock to 25 seconds. And underneath, and that's not going to do very much, and the crowd gets frustrated. Purdy. Great protection, and wide open is Kittle. Roaming free. Diggs can't take him down. Nobody else can, and it's a touchdown. 54 yards.
Watch what happens with Purdy. He looks to the right. He wants to go to the slant. Wosu drops, so he comes back all the way to his left. Busted coverage. And because he's able to work through those progressions with great time, he finds who else? George Kittle, who knows how to make people miss, and let alone when you bust in coverage like this, he's going to find a way to get that.
On the flip side, tied for the league lead in sacks with 14.5. Pressure again, escapes for the moment, fires, finds the open man. It's Lockett.
They've gotten into obvious passing situations, and now down like this, they're kind of back into that familiar territory.
Four-man rush. Caught. So they convert up at the 24-yard line. That's Tyler Lockett. 2nd and 21. And down he goes. Speaking of 97, Bosa. 15.5 now on the year. Brothers Joey, of course, with the Chargers. Meanwhile, here is on a 3rd and 32 for anybody. Come on. 51-yard field goal attempt by Myers is good. McCaffrey comes back in, 2nd down and 9. Purdy goes down to the 34-yard line. Quentin Jefferson gets to him there. Come up in a tight formation over the middle. That is caught there by McLeod, and Ray McLeod is going to pick up the first down. 1st and 15. Purdy throws, and that's caught, and that'll pick up 12.
In the game.
Yeah, for sure. 3rd and 5. Can they get to Purdy? They cannot. The pass is incomplete. Smith. Bosa's there, but he gets away from him. Flag is thrown. Another flag is thrown, and a 3rd flag is thrown.
There were 3 fouls on the play, all by the defense, all of which will be declined. Holding, number 57. Holding, number 7. Illegal use of hands to the face, number 97. They're all declined.
Terry's going no. Here's Lockett. 2nd down and 2 for Seattle from their own 44-yard line. Walker to the outside. It's around the corner. Nice run. 2nd and 10. To the outside goes the throw. Bosa was lined up wide again. Look out. And Geno Smith goes down at the 45-yard line. Again, that intense pressure all night long. So Dixon has to come in to punt for the 6th time in the game. Let it bounce. And they'll pin him at the 1-yard line. After a punt. Key play. 3rd and 7. And that's going to be caught, and that's going to be a first down up to the 15-yard line. Seahawks are in action here. It's 3rd down and 15 from the 10. 4-man rush. Purdy has to spin away. It's out of the end zone. Little dump off there. 3rd down and 23. Chased again. A little sideways flip a la Mahomes.
Disciplined and violent as this 49ers defense.
Yeah. Held the Hawks to 2 field goals. Meanwhile, they can start playing a little clock ball here. With Kittle in motion. Here goes McCaffrey.
Everything works out in the end.
I guess. 2nd down and 6. Purdy. Wide open again, and this time it is Tyler Kroft.
I'm on the road.
Yeah. 3rd and 6. And that's incomplete. Next Gen Stats powered by AWS. Make probabilities 57%. Robbie Gould, 43 yards, and so much for that. Yep. Gets it to Metcalf, and that should be enough for the first down as they hurry up to the line. Smith under pressure. That is caught along the sideline. Back on the bench, but can get back in the game. Meanwhile, the pass is thrown underneath to Walker with a ton of room, and Kenneth Walker will take the ball to the 10-yard line. Got 34 on that. Spotted at the 10. It's first down and goal. Smith hangs in there, throws, caught for the touchdown. Noah Fant. Huge 3rd and 1. Rolling. Looking for the first down and getting it. And on the verge of taking his team into the playoffs. Handoff here goes to Jordan Mason. Snaps it at 2 through the middle, and this ends the ball game right here as Mason takes off inside the 10 and gets bumped out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. So the 49ers win it by a score of 21-13, dealing a major blow to Seattle's playoff hopes along the way.